Morning YouTubers, day 2, unboxed the Glacial last night. It arrived from FedEx yesterday about lunchtime. Box has got a few dents and holes in the box. We'll have a quick look at that. To be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed. The plane's been damaged in the freight. We'll have a look at that as well and go through the quality of the model and see where we go from here. I've got to get in touch with RC Composites, the company that made the model, and see how we go with FedEx and getting a replacement fuselage, hopefully in a timely manner. It's taken 3 months. 23rd of October I ordered this model and it turned up yesterday, 2nd of February. So it's over 3 months door to door, which is a little bit disappointing. I was estimated 7 to 9 weeks from RC Composite. To be honest, have been a little bit difficult to deal with, possibly because of the language barrier. Communication's been good, just the language barrier I think has made it a little bit more difficult than it would have been if I was dealing with another European country or Brian Herbert or something like that, you know. It's just, so yeah, a bit of added stress. Let's have a look at the box and then we'll check the model. I'll show you what's wrong, what I was expecting, what I got that's wrong, what I didn't get that I thought was coming with the kit. I've since learned today from talking to a fellow flyer over on the East Coast. So bear in mind, there's 2 versions of this kit. It's the Glacial, designed and flown by Lasse Nurilli. Won the World Championships here last year, 2023 here in Australia, which is why I purchased this plane. I was not aware at the time that Lasse makes this plane himself. I googled it and came across RC Composite and assumed that this company make it for Lasse. So yeah, my mistake. I wasn't aware there was 2 people making this plane. I've been told today that Lasse's model is lighter and potentially the build quality is slightly better, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's check out the box. If we have a look here, the box has been dropped. There's lots of impressions. This is the bottom of the box. It's got a tear in the cardboard, a hole, big hole there, another crush point, another hole, more crush points, a hole here, small puncture holes, another puncture hole here, impact. Despite RC Composites making it very clear that that's the top, it's fragile, treat it with care. Don't stack a box on top. They can't make it any clearer than what they have. See, the hole's gone all the way through the box and punctured the inside. Inside the box, the plane was sitting in this wooden frame, which looks relatively sturdy. That doesn't seem to have any damage to it, but because of the holes and the exposed areas in the bottom, there's nothing to stop any protrusions hitting the fuselage or wings. Here's what I got with the plane. Black Falcon looking carbon undercarriage. They were supposed to be painted. I'll put a picture of what I ordered up on the video. So when I queried this with RC Composites, I was told black looks very good. I told them that's not what I ordered, and asked them to paint them. I also asked them for a quote to send me painted ones and painted spats as per the picture, and I would keep these as spare parts. They decided to pull these out. These were white originally. They decided to pull these out of the box after it was already packaged and paint them blue. I mean, it's done quite a good job, but at the end of the day, it's not what I asked for. So, disappointing. Fixtures and fittings, this is what you get. A couple of these, which I'm assuming are for mounting servos into the stabs. I haven't figured that out yet. Rudder servo. I've got 8 screws which go into these for mounting these into the wings. These don't look too bad. These, on the other hand, I'm quite sure if you can see the scale. You can certainly hear it. Sounds like sandpaper. They look like they've been made in 2 halves and glued together, because there's lots of joins that aren't actually joined. These have actually look like they're split apart, or they're not completely compressed, or don't have enough glue to fill the gaps. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, so that's something else I'm going to have to address. The quality is terrible. They're bent, they're not even straight. They've got a big bow in them. Not happy. Wing bases, they're well made. No blind nuts. That's got to be glued for the undercarriage. Again, no hardware. Horns. 4 horns for the ailerons. These are quite clever that they link together. Kind of like that, so they interlock. That's a cool idea. So there is obviously 1 set for the rudder here. So that'll go through to the rudder. 1 set for pull elevator, and the second elevator. So this will make you laugh. Pull 2 elevators. What do we get in the model? We get this foamy reinforced looking plate. So I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that this plate will get glued on top of there for your rudder servo. This is as flimsy as buggery. That's going to break after a few weeks with the rudder yanking on that. The picture and the advertising shows this being carbon fibre, or at least carbon fibre reinforced, layered. Not what I got. Also, how am I supposed to mount an elevator servo down here for the pull elevators? Where's the mounts? Where's the bracing? Again, I'll have a picture. This is what I got. This is not what is advertised on their website. So again, didn't get what I paid for. Unfortunately, this got damaged in the freight, as I mentioned. The tape here is torn. That's how it came. I'm guessing what's caused that is the rudder has been crushed, possibly from dropping the box. I'll add some photos that come out probably a little bit better. There is a crease here, which I'm not quite sure if you can see in the light, but the fiberglass has separated from the foam. It's hard to tell, but the crease goes all the way through here, up through here. This is all really soft, and it's just, there's a dip here. I'm not sure if you can see that on in the light, but there's a crease runs through there, so there's no strength there anymore. The guys forgot to add this blue line, so when I asked for some progress photos before shipping, I noticed that this was missing, and I asked for it to be put on. They took it out of the box, took the plane out of the box and added this line, but by doing that they've now used what looks like a Scotch-Brite, and there's scratch marks all the way down here where they've taken the edge off. The black now is all dull, all the shine has been removed, it's been like sanded, and there's no gloss on here at all now. The other damage is on the top. Again, I'm hoping you can see that in the light. I'll post some photos. It's really difficult to get on camera. So there's a crease that starts there, goes up and around all the way to the other side. So the fuselage has had a fair drop. So thanks FedEx. After this blue line was painted, I would say that RC Composites gave the model a clear coat again, at least to try and blend that in, of which they've stuck the bubble wrap on top for packaging, and the clear coat wasn't dry, and all the bubble wrap is stuck to the top of the clear coat and bubbled. There's another crease there, I've just noticed. There's another crease through here, you can see in the light. So overall, the paint finish is okay, the clear coat is dull. What else do they do on this plane? Oh yeah, there's supposed to be paint here to finish off the pattern. This sits on top of the cowling. The red piece here, that red should be blue, and it should actually extend and come up and around here, so it looks like it tapers. That to me, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Again though, it wasn't what I was expecting. I went through the process and was very clear, selected a picture and thought that was what I was getting. So that's the wrong colour, should be blue. These black stripes should be white. They're white in the pictures, they're white in all the photos on the website. Why are mine black? They're black here, black here. Why would you put black on top of dark blue? 20 feet away you won't see that. I want white here so I can see it in the sky. Again, changes from the supplier without asking. This was supposed to be blue, that was supposed to be red. Not the end of the world, I can live with that. Wasn't what I was expecting. The wings are well built. The finish is pretty good. This aileron seems to have a twist in it. There's a step here, but it's flush at this end. Actually, it's under there, so if I lift that up, that makes that worse. So that aileron's got a twist in there, which I'm going to have to get out. The other wing underneath is okay. Front is very nicely carbon fibered for reinforcing, so beautiful job inside there as far as the reinforcing goes. Bottom wing support, undercarriage area, all reinforced. What surprises me though, this plane is super light to the point there is no reinforcing, no carbon fibre strand down the fuselage to add any rigidity at all. It is purely relying on the fiberglass and the foam or whatever is layered. There is no longitudinal reinforcement down there whatsoever. A couple of carbon strands wouldn't go amiss. Excited I've got my model after 3 months. I'm somewhat disappointed that no canopy latches, no pins. You can't mount a servo there. And if that goes inside, why was it not glued during manufacture? Why was it not provisioned for? Trying to get that glued in there tidily and accurately now is going to be extremely difficult. So no hardware to mount these into the stabs, so no hardware to bolt them on. I've got to go and buy those. Aluminium tubes, still with the sharp edges on, not deburred. No blind nuts, no fixtures and fittings, no wheels, no axles, no blind nuts or bolts to bolt the undercarriage on, no cable for the pull system, so and no cable for the rudder elevator pull system. I can't even mount an elevator servo in here. So my overall experience so far is I'm not overly happy given the amount of money spent on this plane from RC Composites. So don't get me wrong, I think buying this from Lassie would be a better experience. I wasn't aware that Lassie personally makes them. I assumed, and my fault for assuming, that RC Composites make these for Lassie. I've been told otherwise today that that's not the case. There is a difference in the weight and the build quality. I've seen that now. I've unboxed mine. I just wish that I'd got what I'd paid for, because now I've got to paint my undercarriage, paint my spats, I've got to fix those bloody wing joiners and tidy them up. I've now got to go and spend a couple of $100 on fixtures and fittings. There is no battery tray. How do you mount batteries in an electric aeroplane and I don't give you a battery tray? What the hell? It's not a complete kit. No tail wheel. I get some of these fittings you can buy, it's a personal choice. They could at least just chuck in some cheap shit, and it's up to you then whether you want to use them or not, or you swap them out later on as they wear out for better quality stuff. I could buy a BJ Craft for half the price of this, and it comes with all the fixtures and fittings. So I was expecting a premium built model for a premium price, and I have to say this isn't it. We will see over the next coming weeks how FedEx and RC Composites deal with replacing the fuselage. I'll keep you up to date with that. I don't want to repair this. Okay, let's grab a clean microfiber cloth. Just give that a rub. Get rid of the excess polish that's been left behind. So obviously this was just a very quick buff with the fine cutting compound. But I think you'll agree, you can already see the difference. I mean, that has come up absolutely beautiful. So let's have a look. I can see in the light that straight away there's a difference. Let's pull the tape off and we'll have a a better look. What a difference. This now has a nice deep blue to it. It's actually got a bit of depth. Again, I'll take another photo because I'm not quite sure what you can see in the camera. But there's definitely way more gloss on this side. You can just look at the light reflections, it's super sharp. As opposed to the scratches, the original scratches on this side. It's a bit hard to tell in this light, so I'll post a photo. Anyway, I will keep going. I'll polish this out and get it to a more acceptable quality that I'm after. So first job is get rid of this crappy rough surface. Been painted by RC Composites. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but that surface is absolutely disgusting. Sand that back, get a nice smooth surface, get rid of all those lumps and bumps. And then this side, I painted it white and then put a clear coat on top just as a test. Beautifully smooth, nice glossy finish. So a lot more extra work, but hey, that's the joys of buying a kit from RC Composites and receiving crappy quality, I guess. Okay, so here we are doing the repairs to the Glacial because of FedEx broke the plane in transit. So I have painted this with a rattle can. It was a can made to try and match this blue here. Unfortunately, because it was a colour match, I had to mask the whole area so that I didn't get any difference in colour. It was easier to paint the whole thing because it was separated from this blue, and hopefully if there's a slight difference you won't see it. So this here is spray painted and not touched. It's got a little bit of orange peel in it, the odd blob that's come out of a spray can, which I'll sand down. Stage 2 is to Then get your 1200 wet and dry and sand this. Don't be afraid to sand the paint. So what I've done is I've started this side. I'm not quite sure if you can see on the camera, but there's some speckles in here, so hence I'm using the natural light to highlight the speckles. So the speckles show me the sanded area, which is dull, and still the low points of the paint, which is the shiny speckles here. Probably better demonstrated here. I haven't got in the corners yet, seeing there's a high spot. So keep sanding and sanding and sanding with a little bit of water and using a rag to wipe it off until these speckles disappear. Bit like what I've done here. So this is speckly, and here you can see there's no speckles. You can see the sanding. It's as deep as I want to go, probably. And then step 3 is to use an orbital sander, something similar to that. Some fine cut-in polish. Put the blobs on the sander. You can see the sander's taken some blue paint off as it's sanded, or polished, sorry. And if we flip this over, you'll see a finished portion. So look at the reflection of the light here. So I'm using that light to give me a reference as to the finished, got wet hands, as to a finished product. So let's move that quickly. So that's a shiny light, so that to me is finished. Happy with that finish. As opposed to if I try and get that light reflection here. See that light reflection on the paint, although the paint's not a bad finish, it's not finished. It's not where I want it to be. So again, stage 1, stage 2 with the wet and dry, and stage 3 with the polish, and that's your finished product. So let's keep sanding this. So I've got a bucket with some water, so we'll just dampen that, and all we're going to do is keep rubbing this until all those highlights disappear. This is just happens to be the brand I got locally. It's a fine cutting compound, just a couple of dobs. Bit of water, spread this around. So we are. It's getting better and better all the time. Still not perfect. I'm going to carry on and keep polishing. But from a painted finish to sanding to a bit of polishing, you can clearly see the before and after effect with a little bit of time. I've done the stabs already. These came from RC Composites, full of scratches and dull. It's a bit hard to see this in the light, but this is full of scratches where he's sanded this, I guess, either in the mold. So this side I've done, you can see the nice reflection of the light here. So this side I've already polished because this was shipped before it was dull. And if you hear that, it's rough. The reflection's nowhere near as bright here. This one I've polished a little bit. You can straight away see that the light is a lot sharper and it's quiet when you rub it. So yeah, quite a difference. Morning everyone. So I've just discovered another problem with RC Composites plane. Here I am starting to assemble the stabs, put them onto the fuselage. I've noticed that the stabs actually have anhedral on them, which may be a little bit difficult to see, but let's have a look. So the tail's got anhedral on, which is okay in itself, as long as the stabs have been cut accordingly. So this one here, I've had to mark the top edge and I've sanded that. There's now no gap. This was what it was like before, so here's the other side. I'm quite sure if you can see that, but I can drop a ruler in here. Big gap, probably about 3 mil, but no gap at the bottom. Nice and tight, good fit to the fuselage. Like I say, on the bottom, gap all the way through there. So, typical quality from RC Composite, nothing fits properly. I think this is a stab from the other side and it's been painted upside down. I think they're made in lefts and rights, and this has been sanded or manufactured with the angle here in reverse. So it's either that or he doesn't really care or doesn't check anything, and there's no QA, so that seems to be the recipe here from RC Composites. Maiden time for the Glacial. Those of you who have been following me, seen my Facebook post originally. Oh, let's just unlock this. Sorry about that. Will know some of the hassles that I've been through with the Glacial. There's a leader. Leader flies awesomely. Very happy with the leader. And the Glacial that we'll be sitting up and flying today. Just to make it perfectly clear, this plane did not come from Lassie. It's not Lassie's product. It's his aeroplane, his design, but it's been made by a company called RC Composites in Lithuania. The gentleman of the name Algardas, who is the biggest, I'm just going to say, asshole I've ever dealt with. In this market, it's way too small for people like you to pull off, sit there and products, having no customer service or follow up, no recourse for the damage, blames you for everything. Blame me for FedEx breaking the model, despite FedEx documenting it at time of delivery, filled in the paperwork, took photos. So I went to a professional painter's. They said, "Oh, that's only had one 1K paint put on it. It should be 2K, and whatever you put on there will take the paint off." So great. So argued that. Spoke to Lassie. Lassie said the same thing. Said it's but that's what RC Composites do, is they paint it with 1K paint, not 2K. Don't do it properly. Take shortcuts. Unfortunately, this is the product that I have. So after many emails backwards and forwards, trying to get Algardas to help with the product, and him keep lying to me continuously. He's made a fuselage. He will send me a fuselage free of cost. He never did. So when I posted on Facebook, he said, "Oh, but if you apologise, I'll sort you out. I'll send you the fuselage, or I'll give you a refund from FedEx," because he'd had a credit from FedEx by then, €542. So I said, "I'm not apologising for sharing the truth and photos of the damage. You've done nothing about it. You don't want to do anything about it. You blamed me for everything. You posted my public details, my personal details, all over Facebook for the world to see. Not very professional of you, Algardas. You charged me $400 for a cardboard box. Keeps telling me I'm a young person and I don't know how to write. He can also write emails. Good on you. Happy for you. As you can see, I'm not a young fella. I've been around for a while. It's not our first rodeo, mate. But anyway, he got the credit from FedEx, and because I refused to apologise for posting the truth, he would not forward the credit. I did, however, say to him I had removed the post, of which I did, from the FVA websites around the world. Not mine, my personal Facebook page. I put whatever I want on my Facebook, but I did delete the ones from the other Facebook pages, and then he stopped corresponding. So he got what he wanted, didn't stand by his word and carry on, and just there was a discussion that he said he would. So he's €500 richer. I'm €500 poorer, plus the fact I've had to spend out hundreds of dollars on materials, carbon, paint, filler, glues, all sorts of stuff to fix my fuselage, and all the scratches on the wings and the stabs and clear coat, which you'll see in the video. So my recommendation is
please do not buy a model from RC Composites. If your model turns up and it's okay, I'm happy for you. You won't have any problems. I'm sure it flies perfectly well. I have no doubt, it's Lassie's design and a copy of his mould, so I have no doubt it flies very well. If you have a problem, or it turns up damaged, or you complain that there's a scratch or a cut or something's broken, you will not get any help out of this guy. He will blame you. He will tell you it's your fault. You did it. He won't give you any credit. He won't give you a discount. He won't help you in any way, shape, or form. So it's just easier to avoid him in the first place. And these kits aren't cheap. This cost me just over 7,000 Australian dollars plus the repairs. When I compared the quality to other models, he said, "Oh yeah, but you're not comparing apples with apples. If you want that quality, buy Lassie's plane, which is an extra, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 euros, give or take, or Australian dollars. I'm not 100% sure. It is a little bit more expensive. The difference is, it is 2K painted. It's professionally painted outside of the mold, so all the seam lines have been sanded and removed, and it's also clear coated and polished afterwards. None of this is done with Elgato. But despite that fact, if you compare his plane, 7,000 Australian dollar Glacial LT, he calls it, to, let's say, a BJ Craft leader, which I have in my trailer, that leader is only 4,000 Australian dollars, and the quality is twice as good as RC Composites Glacial. There's no seam lines, there's no scratches in it. It's 2K paint. It's been clear coated. The finish and quality of BJ's Craft is absolutely mint. I've had 4 of his planes now. Not seen a blemish on any single one of them. My Element, my Eternity, my Epilogue, all beautifully finished. Have no complaints at all. If you compare Elgato plane with even the likes of Brian Herbert of a similar price landed here in Australia, or the Proteus WC, those guys are clear coated, they're fully painted, don't have seam lines around the mold. You know, when the mold's joined together, they don't have that seam line that's left unpainted or unsanded. So I am comparing apples with apples. I'm comparing a $7,000 plane to other manufacturers that cost the same or less and have far better quality. So that's my comparison. And to be perfectly honest, the quality of this plane doesn't pass the pub test. If it was closer to Australia, I'd drive it and return it, chuck it on his desk. That's how pissed off I am with what I've received. If you get a good model and you've got one on order and it turns up okay, I'm happy for you. It'll be a great model, I'm sure. But to anybody thinking about buying from this guy, I would recommend that you maybe save a few extra dollars and buy from Lassie or a local dealer that can go through Lassie for you and deal with a local person and support your local hobby shop.
All I seem to see must be something underneath. Take 2. I'm still trying to figure out what makes you hard on the call. I guess it comes from your heart, 'cause when your head's right, you take your time. There's something about the love of things you like. Fire when the strobe hits. Looking for something new.
That's it, Brian?
Yes.
Bet you're looking for something new. Staring up across the room. Bet I'm a trendsetter too. Bulletproof, on another level, ahead of the crew. Select never settles, it only gets better the more you see. Powerful and free, confidence is key. So watch me figure it out. It's all about what you bring to the crowd, where your reference is loud. They're calling me over, set your fire on me, like what I see you getting closer. Hey, trendsetter, see your fire when the strobe hits you. I didn't see who you came with. Bet you're looking for something new. I feel the heat with you staring up across the